I was scared because once I do this, I'm committed. We're not turning back. And there's no assurance of the outcome. If you've listened to the last couple of episodes, then you know that I wanted to come here to Ecuador and visit Jose. And I'm gonna go into a bit more of the challenges and some of the things that I've learned in the first trip when I came here in January of 2021. So a little bit of the background. What I really wanted was to come here to Ecuador and live here for 2 to 3 months. This has been a recurring dream, something that I've wanted to do for the last 5 to 6 years, and it was really born in when I was 16, which was 2013, 2014, somewhere in that range. And I also realized, man, it's probably wise to test a place, make sure you actually enjoy being somewhere before you commit 2 to 3 months of your life to being there. And I also thought practically I would be able to build relationships if I go somewhere in 2 to 3 weeks that then I can come back to, and that can give me different opportunities and a different and a better experience than if I just do one long trip. And what I really wanted with this trip too, what I desired most, was I wanted to prove to myself that I could have a dream and actually have the courage to go after it and take the action that was required to be one step closer and one step closer and one step closer to actually bringing that into reality. And a part of what was hard about that was I knew it would cost me, both in terms of money and comfort, and that nothing is promised. And so after my compassion trip was canceled in 2020, I was really bummed. That was in June of 2020. I'd taken Spanish classes. I now had an associate's in Spanish. If you don't know that story, there's an earlier episode that kind of shares more in depth about that. And then I was listening to the Battle Ready podcast, and then they mentioned something about there being a Mosaic church in Ecuador. And I went, oh, what? There's a Mosaic Ecuador, what? And I was so excited. I found out they had an Instagram account. I followed them on Instagram, and I had this thought. What if I could go there or here to Ecuador and meet people who actually live in Quito, and if I could do that, that could change everything. And so the plan began. I followed Mosaic Ecuador on Instagram. I followed people who followed that account. I was originally going, okay, so what I could do is just message people that look friendly, and see if I can somehow find someone who will meet with me. And one of the things that I'm really grateful for about COVID-19 is pretty much everything was online at that point. This was September, November of 2020. A lot of stuff was still being done via Zoom. And so they had a Zoom team night. And I was able to join that. And then I was able to follow some people that I had met on that team night on Instagram. And I was able to start DMing with them, because I knew that having met them once even just via Zoom, now that rapport is so much more built than if I've never met them and you just message someone out of the blue. Especially being from the US versus Ecuador, it's less weird because now we've actually met. And I knew that meeting people would be essential during these 2 to 3 weeks because I wanted to come back for 2 to 3 months. And if I could meet people there, it could change the opportunities that I would have, the friendships, the different experiences, because it's one thing to go somewhere by yourself and meet other travelers. It's another thing to meet and have friends that are locals in that area. There's just a different perspective, a different mindset, and you learned so much. And I was confident that coming back over the summer would be so much more rewarding, having put forth this initial effort. And I was really concerned. I was scared when I bought my plane tickets to come to Ecuador the first time, because I knew once I've bought the plane tickets, now I'm committed to actually doing this. And what what was going on in my mind that was causing this discomfort, this unknown, was I had bought these plane tickets, or I was planning to do this, but I was also going to be gone the 3 weeks right after Christmas, which, if you've ever worked at a church or been around people who work at a church, the Christmas season is pretty hectic. And to then ask for 3 weekends off right after Christmas felt like a really big ask to me. And I was also going to need to ask for almost a month off of work from Goodwill, which I was working at the time. And so it was like, it was going to be money, it was going to be asking for all these things. And it was actually the words of two good friends, well, one sibling, but she's also a great friend. As the words of Christy, as well as Nathan Cesaretti. And she just encouraged me, like, there's never going to be a better time in your life to do this. And Nathan had shared Galatians 1:10 with me actually 4 or 5 months earlier, which talks about, like, are we looking to please man or please God? And in that moment, that was a really helpful thing to go, okay, like, I know what I need to do here, even if it's uncomfortable. And so then what was amazing was I bought the plane tickets and I went to my direct report, Jason, at Vintage Grace. And what was incredible and such a different story than what I had made up is he was actually, like, so excited at the prospect of me coming here to Ecuador the first time. And it just made me realize how important the stories and the things that I tell myself in my own mind are, and how different they are than the actual reality. Because he was so excited, and I'm sure it was not perfect to find replacements for a drummer or production or whatever for those 3 weekends, but that didn't take away from his excitement for me. And I was also able to get the month off that I needed from Goodwill. That wasn't a problem either. So the two things that I thought were almost the things that caused me to not do the trip were actually very, although hard emotionally for me, in the actual action of doing them, they were not a problem. And that just made me think of, like, man, how many times do I make up a story of that and it's not true? Because what actually happened was so many people were so encouraged by me doing this. They were so excited for me to come here to Ecuador. And it also made me realize that in me choosing to live full out, to actually have this dream and have the courage to go after it, I was giving excitement and life to people around me, that now they have the opportunity to ask, like, what are the dreams, what are the things inside of me that have been recurring over the last 3 to 5 years that I've just pushed off or pushed down or said they're too hard or too weird, and I can't do them. And now I was going, like, whoa, I'm actually doing this. I actually have the okay. I have the support from the different things. And I was actually, like, at a point where I had the thought process of, if I lost both of my jobs, would it be worth it for the 2 to 3 weeks? And I gone, yep, it's worth it. And I was grateful that I didn't have to do that. But that was the mindset that I had at the time. And then I encountered a problem. It was Christmas Day. My plane, Christmas Day 2020. My plane leaves on December 29th, so 4 days from now. I still know no one in Ecuador. I had reached out to people along the way, but I still don't have anything. And I had actually reached out Christmas Eve to one of the friends that she had said, maybe you could meet some of my friends here in Quito. But I hadn't heard back, so I had done the follow-up work. Okay. And I knew in that moment, I was going, all I need to do, I just need to meet 1 to 3 people within the first 1 to 3 days. Or really, I just need to meet a person within the first 3 days of this 20-ish day trip. Because I knew if I could meet one person, that person could lead me to others. And I know that once I can meet someone, I can I enjoy people, and that helps in this regard. And so I knew I just needed to meet someone. And what happened was 3 days before I left, so the day after Christmas, I actually did meet, or I did actually get a message from someone going, hey, here are the WhatsApps and Instagrams of someone. Because I knew if I could meet someone within that initial 1 to 3 days, I could then meet other people. But if I missed it, that would make things so much more difficult. So then I did get that response. I got those Instagrams and WhatsApps of two different guys, Bramo and Leo. And I then was able to WhatsApp Bramo, and we were able to plan on meeting on December 30th, which is the day that I flew in. I arrived at 3 a.m. on December 30th. And then we couldn't actually meet on December 30th, which at first I was like, oh, no. But then it actually gave me the opportunity to speak a whole bunch of Spanish, and my mind shifted, and it was just like firing on all cylinders. It's actually such a gift. And then we met on the 31st for coffee, and I got to meet him. I got to meet his then girlfriend, now wife, Carla, and Carla's younger sister, Vivi. And it was incredible. And then I actually got to meet two other friends of theirs, Sandy and Mika, on that same day. And then I actually ended up getting to spend New Year's Eve with them. And it was amazing because 6 days ago, so this is December 31st, 6 days ago, December 24th, 25th, I knew no one. And now I've met 5 people in 2 days. And it felt like something impossible happened with that first trip. That this shouldn't have worked, yet it did. I went to a place where I'd never been, where I knew no one, and I was able to build incredible relationships and have visit different places and cultivate rest within myself. And I found that all the preparation that I had made in 2020 to go and visit Jose, it wasn't wasted. That all that preparation ended up being so valuable for this trip that I didn't know was even a possibility in the beginning of 2020. And it also showed me how valuable and how much better something can be when I choose to have the courage to go after the dream, even when failure is quite possible. Even when the outcome is unknown. Because without taking the step, I'd have never known what would have happened. I'd have never met so many different people here in Ecuador. And I wouldn't have been able to actually live out what I am praying and hoping that we as a community are becoming, which is people who live by faith, who are known by love, and who are voices of hope. That we would dream great dreams and have the courage to go after them. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you have enjoyed this, please rate and review it on iTunes and Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. And also, if there's a part of this where you learn something or have something that you're going to be able to apply into your life as I'm sharing these stories, please share it and tag me on Instagram. I'd love to hear what it is that you're taking away from these. You can tag me at Daniel Barnes, DanielBaarns. That's 2 A's, no E in Barnes. And I want you to know that I'm so thankful that you chose to listen to this podcast. And I will see you on the next one. Adios.